Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, 8th chapter, text number 26. Name savah parayanti brahman nanashanadami pibatochyuta piyusham tadvakyabdi vinisritam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O learned Brahmana, because of my drinking the nectar of the message of the infallible personality of Godhead, which is flowing down from the ocean of your speeches, I do not feel any sort of exhaustion due to my fasting. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The disciplic succession from Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, and Shukadev Goswami is particularly different from others. The disciplic successions from other sages are simply a waste of time, being devoid of Achyuta Katha or the message of the infallible Lord. The mental speculators can present their theories very nicely by reason and arguments, but such reasons and arguments are not infallible, for they are defeated by better mental speculators. Maharaj Parikshit was not interested in the dry speculation of the flickering mind, but he was interested in the topics of the Lord, because factually he felt that by hearing such a nectarian message from the mouth of Shukadev Goswami, he was not feeling any exhaustion, even though he was fasting because of his imminent death. One can indulge in hearing the mental speculators, but such hearing cannot endure for any length of time. One will be exhausted very soon from hearing such hackneyed ways of thinking, and no one in the world can be satisfied simply by hearing such useless speculations. The message of the Lord, especially from a personality like Shukadev Goswami, can never be tiring, even though one may be exhausted from other causes. In some editions of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the text of the last line of this verse reads, Anyatra Kupita Dvijat, which means that the king might be overwhelmed by the thought of his imminent death by snake bite. The snake is also twice born, and its anger is compared to the cursing Brahmana boy who was without good intelligence. Maharaj Parikshit was not at all afraid of death, for he was fully encouraged by the message of the Lord. One who is fully absorbed in Achyuta Katha can never be afraid of anything in this world. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
On the second canto, Sukadeva Goswami starts speaking. And when he starts speaking Bhagavatam, he says, Bhagavata, the process of Krishna consciousness, is for people who are already in the path of self-realization. Jitasana, Jitakroda, Jitendriya, Jitasangaha. This is the starting verse. This is for people who have Jitendriya, who have controlled their senses. Jitasana, who are expert in yoga and control their body. Jitaswasaha, control their breath. Jitasangaha, who have controlled their association, winning over association, winning over the indriyas. So this philosophy is not for ordinary people. Ordinary people cannot understand this philosophy of Bhagavatam. Previous verse Prabhupada says, great sages, great munis like Jaimini, Patanjali, Ashtavakra, Kapila, Kannada, Gautama, all these munis, they all have given their philosophy of life and death and their conclusion of what is the final aim of life. Even they have not understood Bhagavatam. Because Bhagavatam is not the philosophy of a particular material, mature mind. No matter how mature your mind is, how mature your intelligence is, you can come out with a lot of conclusions and realization of life and the goals of life and what the aim of life is. It will not be satisfying as Bhagavatam. Because the difference is that Bhagavatam is straight out of the mind of a transcendentalist who is sheltered by the Supreme Lord. It is not a flow of mental speculation. It is not somebody's personal realization. Like Prabhupada says, I like reading my own books. Prabhupada, devotees have seen Prabhupada coming in to this room and he'll be reading book. What book? Purport of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Why? Sometimes in Bhagavatam and the devotees' life who are explaining Bhagavatam, they themselves are surprised by what is coming out of their mouth. Why? Because this is coming from a transcendental plane. It is not coming from some intellectual understanding or conclusions. Many times we all are used to, okay, today I have a class, 1 hour class, so I have to sit and the management principals say, I sit and prepare 5 hours. If I had to give a 1 hour lecture, all these major management gurus and what is public speaking, all these professionals will say, prepare. So दूसरा काम ही नहीं है. Sit and prepare and come and vomit. That is not Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is not an vomited intellectual conclusions after your preparation. Preparation is needed. Preparation not on the subject. I'm not saying you should not prepare, but I'm saying that it works beyond that principle. Preparation is in the consciousness. Preparation is not on the subject. When I started giving Bhagavatam class, one senior devotee told me, have you chanted 16 rounds? Then you can give Bhagavatam class. Because Bhagavatam should not come out of your intellectual speculation or your memory strength. Bhagavatam is a subject which has to come out of the mercy of Krishna. This is a subject of Krishna spoken by Krishna himself. Different people starting from Brahma until us, we have to only be via media. So the preparation is not on the subject, but the preparation is on how good a via media you are. That is why Prabhupada said, what can you go and talk? Distribute my book. Because I will talk through my book. Because you are not a good representative yet. You are not a via media yet. What is the verse in Gita? Arjuna says, we are only the instruments. What is that? Nimitta. So you are not become a proper nimitta yet. To become a proper nimitta requires practice, tapasya, time, and the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas. That is preparation. Somebody says, today give class. No, Prabhu, I am not prepared. You have chanted Hare Krishna, you are following Krishna consciousness, then you are ready to give. So that is real preparation. So Bhagavatam is totally different from other subjects, even philosophical subjects, as concluded by all these different sages Prabhupada is mentioning in the previous purport. Mature understanding of a intellectual. That is not Bhagavatam. So in the material world, we only hear many philosophies. All these philosophies are conclusion of a personal experience, different maturity. But this Bhagavatam is also a mature fruit. What is a mature fruit? It is a mature fruit. Nigama kalpa toror gilitam sukhamukhat amritadrava samyutam. It is a mature conclusion of the Vedas which is passed through the sweet mouth of the parrot called Sukha. It is also spoken by people. from Brahma onwards. Very qualified human beings, or qualified demigods, or qualified Trimurtis, Brahma. But Brahma will be interested in hearing what he spoke. Narada will be interested in hearing what he spoke. Vyasa will be interested in hearing what he spoke. Prabhupada will be interested in hearing what he spoke. Why? Because these subject matters are transcendental emanation from a transcendental platform, which is sometimes even outside the control of the speaker. So Bhagavatam originates from a transcendental platform. A mature mind and intelligence may not be transcendental. We have all the modern educationalists, modern philosophers, modern thinkers. Their knowledge is a product of their own maturity in that subject. But Bhagavatam, even an illiterate person can speak Bhagavatam. Materially illiterate, unsophisticated. Because Bhagavatam has to emanate from a transcendental mind, not material mind. Of course, you may prepare the subject, you may prepare what to talk, that is all that. But finally, it has to emanate by the mercy of Krishna. And for it to come as the mercy of Krishna, what is the qualification of the speaker? The qualification of the speaker is that he is speaking to please Krishna. Many times we speak, we are trying to impress the crowd, impress the audience, impress the gallery. Bhagavatam is not spoken like that. Bhagavatam is spoken as a seva. The person who speaks Bhagavatam is doing seva to Krishna by speaking, and the person who is hearing Bhagavatam is doing seva to the Lord by hearing. Both are in the same plane. A seat may be a little more because you are representing Vyasa. It doesn't mean that a speaker is more qualified. Then why is Vyasadeva sitting and hearing when Sukadeva Goswami is speaking? Why Narada is coming and hearing when Sukadeva Goswami is speaking? Speaking Bhagavatam does not go by seniority. Anybody can speak Bhagavatam, anybody can hear Bhagavatam, irrespective of who is senior, who is junior. Hence, Bhagavatam should be respected for Bhagavatam, not based on who is the speaker. We may feel very sleepy sometimes, but that is our disqualification, not the disqualification of the speaker. And sometimes we may feel very elated and very blissful. That is also your own qualification. You are in bliss. You are alert in Krishna consciousness. What I mean to say is that Bhagavatam goes beyond all these material calculations. Materially understood good, bad. Bhagavatam is representing Krishna. Is Krishna. Bhagavatam is worshipable. The book Bhagavatam is worshipable as much as person Bhagavatam is worshipable. And Bhagavan, who is spoken about in Bhagavatam, is also worshipable. Same quality. Bhagavan, Bhakta, Bhagavatam. Same quality. So we should not compare Bhagavatam like an ordinary literature. We have to respect Bhagavatam. We have to respect Bhagavata Katha. That is why Bhaktivedanta Saraswati was very much against the Saptaha, Bhagavat Saptaha. Because in Bhagavat Saptaha, a man comes and talks and everybody is aha, oh, he. Without following any principles of Bhagavatam. Just on Leela of Krishna, without understanding the previous Leelas of Krishna. Hence Bhagavatam emanates from transcendental platform. It is ever good. So Parikshit, a very qualified disciple, hearer of Bhagavatam. Sukadev, the perfect speaker of Bhagavatam. Otherwise, why did they choose Sukadev Goswami to speak Bhagavatam? Narada could have spoken. He is the person who first taught Bhagavatam as heard from Brahma. Vyasa could have spoken. Vyasa, the most qualified incarnation, literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord, who has written all the Vedas. Why would Sukadev be chosen? Is that as spoken by Brahma, as spoken by Narada, as spoken by Vyasa, maybe in his own words, but absolutely representing without any changes. It is a repetition. And in material world, people don't like repetition. Yes, I may like a song 10 times, I hear it, afterward I'm bored. I hear a subject, I hear 10 times and I'm bored. But Bhagavatam, you don't get bored. You will get bored, but you don't get bored if you are qualified. If we are not in Krishna consciousness, we get bored. In the beginning days, when people read Prabhupada's books, every book, same subject matter. Some people give that explanation. Everything is same. We keep reading, and support our reading with sadhana, support our reading with chanting, support our reading with sadhu seva, in association of sadhus. That brings the fruit of transcendental consciousness. In transcendental consciousness, if we hear Bhagavatam, it is totally different from hearing Bhagavatam in a material, intellectual, or mental platform. And for hearing Bhagavatam in the transcendental platform, one has to practice hearing Bhagavatam with humility. Shravanam. Real Shravanam with humility. When we hear Bhagavatam in Shravanam of Bhagavatam in humility, gradually we get a taste in hearing Krishna Katha. Because we are supposed to be immersed in hearing Krishna Katha. As soon as we hear Krishna Katha, we have to be immersed in it. The goal of our spiritual life is in hearing properly. Like our goal of chanting is to hear chanting properly, is to chant continuously. Like in the purport it is said, hearing the nectarian message from the mouth of Sukadeva Goswami, he was not feeling any exhaustion. When we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, do we feel exhaustion? In the beginning, yes. You have experienced that? Because we are mechanically chanting. When you mechanically chant, बहुत chanting किया अभी. But when a person is chanting in the real, even not Krishna Prem and all, no need to go to that level. Even the level of attentive hearing, go on, like engine, stop नहीं कर सकता. Right? Goes on and on and on and on, without any exerting any physical pressure or any mental pressure. Why? Because the energy to chant comes from Krishna. In the beginning, we don't have that surrender. So the energy to chant Hare Krishna is coming from my own power. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Then sleep, then Hare Krishna. Then it may be the beginning. But once a person chants Hare Krishna in the right attitude, he has attracted the mercy of Krishna. Humbly chanting, surrendered way of chanting, and removing some anarthas, not committing offenses, at least knowingly. When he comes to that platform, then Hare Krishna is an automatic process. Who is chanting, who is hearing, it's all merged. The person who is chanting does not feel that exhaustion of chanting Hare Krishna. Similarly, a person who is hearing Bhagavatam doesn't feel the exhaustion of hearing Bhagavatam. Of course, We are all filling our stomach now and sitting and talking Bhagavatam. So we don't feel exhausted, but we feel sleepy. That is why sometimes Bhagavatam has to be heard early in the morning. Like we chant Hare Krishna early morning. Chanting early in the morning and chanting after Rajbhog Prashadam is different, right? So these transcendental subjects are emanating from transcendental position, transcendental atmosphere. That atmosphere which is beyond the mind, beyond intelligence, beyond any speculation. It's coming from Krishna. Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. So the holy name is coming from beyond the status of material world. Hence it is said that transcendental subject will not be understood by academic people. Like nowadays, now particularly today, we are in a situation where we have to explain what we are doing. Is the world understanding what we are doing? They will never understand. You try to explain whichever way, they will not understand because their purpose of life is different. Their conclusion of life is different. Their understanding of life is different. Hence, as Gita says, what is day for them is night for a transcendentalist, and what is night for the transcendentalist is day for the material people. All that subject matter which is of interest for material people are of no interest for spiritualists. And all the subject matter which is of interest for spiritualists will never be of interest for materialists. So there's no point in convincing materialists. What does Krishna say in Gita? That verse where Krishna says, devotees sit and discuss Krishna Katha. Ramanti cha, bodhayanti cha, bodhayanti parasparam, kathayantasya mam nityam, tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. My devotees sit together and discuss my stories. Krishna didn't say that devotees will sit with karmis and discuss. That is preaching. We may try to create interest in them, but our life's goal is not to keep creating interest in them. Our life's goal is in sitting together and creating interest in Krishna and ourselves. That is our work. As a sadhana, we go out and preach. As a representative of Prabhupada, representative of Krishna, representative of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we go out and preach. But we have to reach a position where we can do Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. We should be able to get that transcendental bliss by speaking about Krishna and hearing about Krishna among ourselves. And for that, we have to be pure in our existence. Purity of existence, purity of consciousness and awareness, and purity of our pleasure-seeking nature. Because we are Satchit Ananda. Spiritually, originally, constitutionally, a soul is full in himself because of this nature of Sat, Chit and Ananta. Sat means existentially he is pure. Chit, consciousness, awareness, attentiveness, he is full. Ananda, pleasure, he is enjoying the transcendental pleasure and is complete and satisfied. To reach that platform in our material life, we have to also be Satchit Ananda. How do we be Satchit Ananda in this material platform? How do we practice being Satchit Ananda? We practice being Satchit Ananda by purifying our existence, by purifying our attention, our knowledge seeking ability or intuition, and the kind of pleasure we get. So the material world, we only have material existence. A material existence is full of struggle for breathing, being peaceful, find some food, find some clothing, find some good shelter. fearless position. So this is material Sat. In material Sat, existence, I'm trying to exist. We have to purify our existence. We purify our existence by following sattvic existence. You can follow rajasic and tamasic existence. You can sleep in tamoguna, sleep in rajoguna, sleep in sattoguna. You can earn your living in tamoguna, in rajoguna, in sattoguna. So sattvic way of existence is Brahmanical existence. Sattvam tat Brahma darshanam, because only in Sattva you can get a glimpse of Brahman. You can get a glimpse of transcendental existence. So by purifying our Sat is pure, soul Sat is pure. But now that we are engrossed in this material body, we have to make this bodily and mental existence also pure. And that is done by sattvic practices. When we do sattvic practices, then we become qualified like the pure soul. That taste is there in Krishna. Similarly, our chit, our knowledge, on what do we put our attention on to know what? That attention is put. Today we are putting attention where? Social cause, humanitarian cause, scientific cause, economic cause, geological cause, cosmic cause. Everywhere we are putting our attention. We are not putting attention on Krishna. He is the person to be known. Our awareness, our attention has to be on Him. Instead of putting our awareness and attention on Him, we are putting our awareness and attention on how the earth is going round, how I can create another rocket, how I can create a telephone, everywhere the knowledge is going, the knowledge Shakti is going. Attention, knowledge, awareness is going on all these unnecessary things except Krishna. So when our attention is only on holy name of Krishna, when our attention is only on spiritual subject matter, then we come to our original chit position. We become purified. And pleasure, we are supposed to be having total satisfaction and pleasure with Krishna. But here we are seeking the same pleasure in gross bodily pleasures, sense gratification. So transcendently stop this sense gratification, taking pleasure from lower worldly pleasures. He takes his attention from worldly pleasure. He doesn't seek satisfaction in worldly pleasures. Some people take satisfaction in worldly pleasure. So people who are trying to exist in a tamoguna and rajoguna, people who putting their awareness on everything other than Krishna, and as long as we take pleasure and satisfaction in worldly things, we will never be in transcendental platform. But the moment a devotee starts chanting Hare Krishna, moment a devotee sacrifices his life for Krishna, the moment he gives up his material opportunities and take Krishna as opportunity, this starts. This flow from Krishna starts. Krishna Shakti vina na pravartam. Without Krishna Shakti, nothing will work. So because devotees are attracting that Krishna Shakti, we are able to exist. We are able to be happy. This happiness of a devotee is not a product of material achievements. His ananda is totally from that. So if we are sheltered by Krishna, we get that ananda. And when we are sheltered by that transcendental energy, we can hear Bhagavatam without food, without drinking, like Parikshit. We can speak Bhagavatam like Sukadeva Goswami. Where the speaker is also purified, hearer is also purified. Why? Because Krishna is satisfied. The moment Krishna is satisfied, everything is satisfied. Like we have this famous story of Mahabharata, right? Like how who's that? Durvasa Muni was invited, and the Akshaya Patra was over. because the last person took. And she was in great anxiety. What do I do? Dhruva has come, thousands of disciples. Today we are going to be cursed because Brahmanas will curse. These are Brahmanas in Sattva, not in Transcendental Brahmana. Transcendental Brahmanas don't curse. For Transcendental Brahmana, you give or you don't give, he has no problem. But Krishna will not like it. So you have to. Krishna says the way to worship Brahmana is to satisfy him even if he comes unexpectedly. That is why it is called Atiti Seva. So yesterday I thought I'll come without informing. By the time Jagannath found out I'm coming. We have to be ready to receive guests who are coming without invitation. Today it's all, Prabhu, I'm coming. I'll be there from this time to this time. What is the program? Everything fixed. It is not Atiti, it is Titi. Atiti means date is not fixed. Titi, Atiti. Prabhupada explained this. That is why it's called Atiti Seva. Very important, Atiti Seva. So when a Brahmana comes, you have to, and he will not come with more prior information. It's a great seva by Grihasthas especially to serve uninvited guests. And by doing that, it is as good as worshipping Krishna. Krishna says, you worship me through the guest by taking care of uninvited guest. You worship me by serving, by feeding the cow and taking care of cow. So these are the different ways of satisfying Krishna in our normal course, especially for Grihasthas. So Krishna was satisfied when Draupadi gave that small piece of leaf. This is the whole secret of existence. When Madhusudana is satisfied, whole Manava is satisfied. That is why for us, Madhava Seva is Manava Seva. But for people outside this compound wall, Manava Seva is Madhava Seva. Will they understand our philosophy? They will not understand. Nor do we want them to understand our philosophy. Why? Purpose of life is to satisfy Krishna and get out of this duplicate world. This duplicate world which is full of cheating. Why is it cheating? Because it is telling me that I will satisfy you and it never satisfies me. It is telling me, give your attention here, your life will be successful. I only hit frustration. It tells, enjoy me, you will get satisfaction, but I am only dissatisfied and I am frustrated. Vita raga bhaya krodha. I am supposed to give these three things out. Raga, bhaya, krodha. Man mana mam upashita, Krishna says. Give up these three things and just serve me. Life will be successful. And don't try to convince unfaithful people. Ninth offense. But following the footsteps of Prabhupada and great Vaishnavas, even though Krishna says, don't talk to karmis, devotees still go and talk to karmis. Why? That is the disease starting from Narada Muni. So that disease which is started from Narada Muni still continues. So this is the only place where we don't follow Krishna. That is a mercy. So we may have to take some trouble. But as Bhaktivedanta says, all troubles in serving Krishna is actually great pleasure. Why? Because it is removing so many karmas out of us. That is why great yogis do tapasya. They do tapasya because only through tapasya you can burn your karma. That is why tapasya is given big importance. And as long as the old karma is not burned, as Krishna says, Papa Punya, unless your papas are burned, you will not get asakti in transcendental life. So for us, of course, we do some tapasya. The greater tapasya is hearing Krishna's name, which we try to do every day as perfectly as possible, even though we cannot, we try. Yes, that is there. But these difficulties we face in giving Krishna to people is the opportunity for us to take greatest tapasya. And in that tapasya, there will be difficulties. There will be unpleasantness. And taking unpleasantness voluntary is the credit. Krishna will be crying. Krishna will be heartbroken. When Krishna is heartbroken, what is for us? Liberation guaranteed. Even though not pure. The only way to go to Krishna is by making Krishna heartbroken. And the only way to make Krishna heartbroken is by following his devotees and taking troubles. Sold out. Krishna is sold out. When Krishna is sold out, he doesn't care whether you are pure or not. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he doesn't care. You are pure, not pure, you are qualified, not qualified. Take the highest bhakti, Radha Bhav, which is the greatest potential, highest potential the soul can. The soul has enjoying potency. The greatest potency of the soul's potential of enjoying is this viraha, this service of Krishna in separation, as shown by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is what happened to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. It's a family disease. It started from him. He was a great Pandit. Nobody could defeat him. Nobody. He is such a great Pandit that he will conclude and he will defeat his own conclusion. Nyaya Shastra, as to even today in the universities, Sanskrit universities, Nyaya, Mimamsa is taught, and that is from Raghunath Sharma. Raghunath Shiromani. He was a contemporary of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was great a Mimamsist, more than this person. And he wrote a Mimamsa Sutra, which was highly appreciated than the Shiromanis. So this man was very upset. Everybody is learning mine. Now they will throw away my book and start learning. Yours is very wonderful. So Chaitanya was like, is this a problem? He threw it to the Ganges. So even today, in Sanskrit college, what is taught, Mimamsa is taught by is Raghunath Shiromani's Mimamsa. Otherwise, it would be Nimai Pandit's Mimamsa. He was not caring for knowledge. He was a great Pandit that even when his very intimate friends later on, Vidadhar Pandit, Murari Gupta, Govinda, they are all very great intimate friends of Krishna from childhood. When they see Nimai Pandit, they will walk this way. You see Nimai Pandit, there's a problem in the day. Right? Because he'll call, come here, make him sit and tell some subject matter and defeat him. So great Pandits, great devotees like Advaita, those days say, what are you doing, Nimai? You should be great devotee. He would never disrespect Vaishnavas. He will defeat all Pandits, but he never disrespected Vaishnavas. He will say, yes, I hope I get your mercy, so one day I can become a great devotee. This is all he will say. Because the time had not come. So he was such a Pandit. And all students want to be his students. Until the day came when he changed. And after he changed, no Panditya is coming out of his mouth. Only Krishna is coming out of his mouth. And he started teaching his students. All students will come and he will talk everything in Krishna's name. Every explanation is Krishna. So the students get frustrated. What is this, Nimai Pandit? We came to study under you, the great Pandita, and today your whole conclusion is only Krishna. Then, okay, tomorrow you come, I will teach you properly. The moment somewhere Krishna word come, he will go into Bhava. Then next only Krishna. So he personally taught how Krishna Bhavana is beyond all the material subject matters. And once you get captured by Krishna Shakti, then nothing will work. And once you get caught by Krishna Shakti, you cannot convince material people. You cannot convince modern people. That is why great bhaktas, great devotees like Prabhupada, they come down a level down. Because if you are a Uttamadhikari, if you are a great devotee of Krishna who sees only Krishna everywhere, you cannot preach. Because for a great devotee, bhaktas are also perfect, karmis are also perfect. Why? Because bhakta are also serving Krishna, karmis are also serving Krishna. There's no difference for him. He cannot preach. So great devotees come down from the position of Uttamadhikari, come down to a Madhyamadhikari and then preach, differentiating between innocent and envious. So the preaching, they sacrifice their own rasa. Like Prabhupada sacrificed the rasa of being in Vrindavan and serving Krishna peacefully, getting out of that peaceful position. People will be saying, what are you trying to do? Are you not satisfied in Vrindavan? You know, you want to go to America? What do you want to do, America? Some other aim you have? That's what people say. What are you sitting inside the temple and doing, serving Krishna? Come out. So Prabhupada came out to serve Krishna. So people don't understand. People think sitting in Vrindavan is very big. Of course, nowadays people are trying to pull us out of the temple. मंदिर में क्या करेगा? माँ बाप को करो. You cannot blame them. They don't understand anything more than that. Like Haridas Thakur, beaten in 22 marketplaces. And what was he saying? Please pardon these people, they do not know what they're doing. But today, are we ready to pardon these people? We get angry, right? We feel angry. But we are supposed to pardon them. They do not know what they're doing. That's all they know. What more they can know? A scorpion swabhava is to bite. A karmi swabhava is this. So we don't get discouraged by their opposition because they are that opposed, because they don't know anything other than that. For that, we need to have great tolerance. We need to have the tendency to forgive. Forgiving is not easy. Many times we hear forgiving, what is it? To err is human, to forgive is godly. So to forgive somebody is not easy. You cannot forgive. We think, oh, I forgive you. But in the mind, will be boiling. Externally, you may forgive. But in the mind, Krishna will show him. This is what they say. Krishna will show him. But devotees don't even say that. Devotees say, Krishna, forgive him. So what level of forgiveness we should have? What level of tolerance we should have? And the only person who can have this tolerance and forgiveness is a person who is tasting Krishna. He's like a rich man. Like a very, very rich man. A rich man, he comes, he goes out. Some people are belittling him. He doesn't care. Why? Because he has huge wealth by which he can buy off a country. What does he care for anybody's comment? So devotee is very rich. He is very, very, very rich inside the heart, not in the pocket. Pocket is empty, heart is full. But for a karmi, heart is empty, pocket is full. Of course, they do not know that the pocket is torn. One by one, the paisa is going. One day it will be empty. Then heart also empty, pocket also empty. At least for us, pocket is already empty. We can try to fill the heart. So when we fill the heart with Krishna, we become very rich. When you say fill heart with Krishna means we have to taste Krishna. We have to feel satisfaction in chanting Krishna's name. We should feel satisfaction in Bhagavad Katha. We should feel satisfaction in the association of bhaktas. When a man reaches that state, then for him, what others say is no value. And he reaches a position where he can forgive people and carry on with his Krishna self. And to reach that position, we have to purify our Sat, Chit and Ananda seeking activities in this material world. Sat, we purify our existence in Sattva-guna. Hence we become Brahmanical in our habits, in our eating, in our sleeping, in our talking with others, how to talk in Sattvic, how to talk in a brotherly way, how to talk as a representative of Krishna, how to control our trigunas and act transcendently. Acquire knowledge on the right subject of Krishna by being attentive to the Shastras and being attentive to Krishna Nama. Because from Krishna Nama you get knowledge, awareness. Chit is awareness. And the right chit is about Krishna. And that right chit comes to us by following Shastra and by chanting Hare Krishna. Automatically knowledge comes, the right knowledge. And by stopping sense pleasures, Krishna opens up his pleasure bank. So we are Satchidananda in this world also. And that is called Jivan Mukta. This is not difficult. We should not feel that, oh, this is not achievable for me. It is achievable for everybody who is chanting 16 rounds every day, as guaranteed by Prabhupada. So that pleasure of Krishna in our heart, as Parishik Maharaj is feeling that pleasure of Krishna in the heart, so he does not feel exhaustion of stomach, exhaustion. Vacho vegam, manaso vegam, everything is straight line. Mind control, tongue control, krodha control, udara control, stomach control, genital control. Automatically it happens. Why? Because he's gone beyond all these things. That satisfaction. That is why bhakti pareshanubhavaha virakti anyatraha. In the right state of bhakti, you have virakti for anything other than Krishna. Virakti anyatra. This is the definition of bhakti. Why there is virakti? Because there is satisfaction. Why there is virakti? Because there is touching of Krishna. Why there is virakti? Because I am tasting Krishna. This is how Jiva Goswami explains that verse. He compares it to a person who is eating. A man who is eating a nice meal. He has these three things. He has satisfaction. First, he is getting nutrition by eating. Since he is getting nutrition from eating, he is happy. Then he is getting satisfaction by filling his stomach. When he is satisfied in his own plate, he will not put his hand in another's plate. That is virakti. When a devotee is satisfied with the bhakti plate in front of him, he will not put his hand in karmi plate, in karmi pleasures, in bodily pleasures. So bhakti brings in automatically these three things. Experiencing Krishna, inspired by Krishna, and satisfied by Krishna. So virakti is automatic. So when we reach that stage of bhakti, everything other than Krishna becomes immaterial. Whether it is praise, stuti, ninda. He is taking stuti and ninda equally. Appreciation and defamation equally. And also he will take auspiciousness and inauspiciousness equally. What does Krishna say? Shubha, Ashubha, Tyagi. Give up Shubha, give up Ashubha. Because everything is Ashubha in the material world other than Krishna. Because the material world is constructed in dream. This is what Mayavadi says, the dream. Because we understand better. What do you care? Last night in the dream, I was eaten by a lion. I'm still here. So what do you care about that experience? It is of no consequence. So similarly, in the state of Shushupti, Jagran, Nidra, Jagran, Swapna and Shushupti. Shushupti is a position where our consciousness is undisturbed. Why undisturbed? Undisturbed because I know that is a dream. I know that is not real. I know that experience is the cause of my karma, of an activity which happened long back and which itself has no value in compared to transcendental life. My liking today, my disliking today is a product of some action. It has no reality. My success, my failure today is a result of something else, which is totally unconnected to my Swarupa of Atma. It is connected to the body, which is not me. The body is fame, body is profit, body is loss, body is success, body is defamation. It is not me. So I am not bothered by that because I am Atma. I am a different identity. That state of Brahmabhuta, Prasannatma, comes for a person when we get Krishna Shakti. And only way to get Krishna Shakti is by these three things. By purifying our existence into Sattva Guna, putting our all attention to Shastra and Krishna Nama, and stopping bodily pleasure and seeking Krishna's pleasure. Then we transit. So in different stages we are today. And because of that, in different stages we will be affected by material things. Some people will be affected more, some people will be affected less. But if you have faith that this is all my karma, we purify by this karmic influence, act tapasya. So Prabhupada has given a very easy system to go back to Godhead. Through Krishna Nam and by Nam Prachar. When you do Krishna Nama, you get mercy of Krishna. When you give Krishna Nama to outsiders, you get mercy of Krishna. And you cross through so many difficulties which will purify you. Simple. Tapasya automatically done. Breaking Krishna's heart automatically happens. Pleasing Krishna automatically happens. Mukti automatically happens. Bhakti Pade, Mukti Dasi. In the path of devotion, Mukti is a servant. Mukti is not. Devotees are not carrying for Mukti. We'll stop here. Any questions or comments?
Say that as we understand in the Shastra, the Acharyas, cannot be explained in the Brahmas. Yet we live in the world in this of that. So the words like forgiveness, even though some good in the form, but to practice that and to also have understanding what forgiveness is. How should we devotee understand? Then, for example, Bombay case of Prabhupada was proceeded. Forgiveness doesn't mean to give up everything, say whatever destiny is done. Rather to make it up in such a way that people can understand or respect what they have done.
Prabhupada, you're comparing forgiveness and you're comparing Prabhupada's fighting in Bombay for the land.
That's talking about the questions. That's the platform. And the platform is also clear on the platform that we're not at that level, but we also need to practice.
Yeah. We can do that by following what he did. Number one point is that you cannot earn everybody's respect. Prabhupada did not wait for people's respect, but people respected him because of his respect for Krishna. Respect we can get. We don't get respect because of what we are today. That's based on our karma. But people respect us because we respect Krishna. When people see our straightforwardness in respecting Krishna and exclusively serving Krishna, they will respect us. They may disrespect us, but they will internally respect us. So that is the respect we try to. And our forgiveness is not by giving up something which is important for Krishna. Our forgiveness is that we don't get affected by the ninda which they do. the disrespect that they give in our endeavor to protect what is Krishna's. So we may fight to protect what is Krishna's, but while we are fighting to protect what is Krishna, we may come across disrespect. So we do not curse the person who is disrespected. Rather, we will only see him as a instrument of Maya. And we see that Krishna wins. To see that Krishna wins, we will do anything. By seeing that we are only working for Krishna and not for our personal things, we will also earn respect automatically. It may take a long time. It will not happen immediately. So can we respect Krishna and forgive the karmis? Respect Krishna's interest and forgive the karmis. So that's very difficult. It's not easy. But by and by, when we mature in devotional service, when we mature in Krishna consciousness, a devotee's heart becomes very compassionate. When a devotee's heart becomes very compassionate, he is very, very fanatic about doing for Krishna. At the same time, he is very sensitive, not disrespect, and always forgive the karmis. That combination is a deadly combination. That is why people loved Prabhupada. Even though people disagreed with him, they loved him because they saw his firmness in respecting Krishna and firmness in not disrespecting and forgiving people. That is a very good combination for a preacher because a preacher is, as you said, in the midst of the world. A yogi is sitting in the forest. He has nobody to fight with. He has nothing to fight. He is sitting under a tree. Monkey is sitting on top of the tree. Yogi is sitting under the tree. Monkey is, and he is also eating same thing what monkey is eating. So our idea is not to become a monkey there. Our idea is to be in the midst of the people. In fact, Mahabharata explains in one place how a yogi is. A yogi is very, very satisfied even if he is in the forest. And a yogi is very much satisfied even if he is in the midst of the crowd. In the midst of the crowd, he experiences calmness. Today, how are we? If a preacher is told, no, you go to this farm and start working the farm. Prabhu, I feel very lonely. Right? I feel very empty. The yogi doesn't feel. You send a yogi in the middle of the jungle also, he is calm. And he is calm also in the midst of thousands of people. So to reach that position of equanimity and that compassion for people. So when there is compassion for people, automatically we will respect them, we will forgive them. Today we don't have that compassion. So we get agitated, we get disturbed, we feel afraid, we are scared, we are shy. So shyness, scaredness, these are all there in the immature stage. But gradually you cross beyond all these things because in the position of equanimity, all these things are not relevant for him. He grows beyond all these things. And actually these things happen after many, many births of meditation. All that is happening to us is happening in one lifetime, in few years' time. Why? Because of Krishna Shakti. Because of Krishna Nama and Krishna Shakti and the blessing of a pure devotee. So lifetimes, many, many lifetimes of endeavor is happening for us in few years. So we should give importance to the result of this rather than the different occurrences which happen in our day-to-day life. Today public will respect us, tomorrow public will not respect us. So when we are very young, ISKCON Kanam, everybody is talking, everybody is praising, awards after award you are getting. When you get award, you will get beatings also. So when awards come, you are happy. When beatings come, you are unhappy, which means you are not Brahma Bhuta yet. So we should find that equanimity. So when award comes also, we should pass it on to Prabhupada. When this thing comes also, we should be undisturbed. So that position of equanimity we reach by our sadhana and by our chanting and by mercy of the Vaishnavas, we reach that inner calm, inner peace, inner equanimity, or inner fulfillment, or inner satisfaction. Until we reach that stage, we cannot act like what Prabhupada did. He may be fighting, but he does not lose his Vaishnavism. He does not lose his position of a great devotee, because he is fighting for Krishna. At the same time, he is respecting the people, he is forgiving the people, and he is only happy if he succeeds in Krishna. And in some places he did not succeed in Krishna, he does not become unhappy materially. How many years? 30 years he struggled. 30 years he struggled. He used to stand in the gate of people, rich people, waiting for the rich man to come to give 5 rupee donation in the sun. And later on, he was carried in a golden chariot. The same Prabhupada. The same Prabhupada stands in the gate for 5 rupees, and the same Prabhupada carried in a golden chariot. He doesn't feel any difference. Why? Because his aim is not materially what is happening. His aim is in satisfying Krishna. He is pleased in serving Krishna, and he is very calm and enjoying in the continuously in the immersed in Krishna. So we need to grow inside, as I said. How to be rich inside. That is the goal of a devotee. By giving up all the material riches. To be internally rich. When internally rich, you cannot, it is not what you call a imitation. It has to genuinely come in the heart of a devotee by purification and by touch of Krishna. Like I think in some verse afterwards, Shukadeva will tell, without Krishna's being in Krishna Shakti, you cannot do this. First verse of next chapter. Atmaya mrite rajan parasyano bhavatmanaha na gatetartha sambandha swapna drashtum ivanjasa. Okay. Unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. That relationship is just like a dreamer seeing his own body working. Which means, even in our material life, day-to-day working, we should be able to give that much importance only, as much you would have given to a dream. Whether it is material praise, material infamy, material satisfaction or dissatisfaction, profit or loss, we see it as if it is happening in the dream. It has no reality, because in real it has no reality. And that can happen only by influence by the energy of Krishna. Atma Maya Mrute Rajan. By the pure soul of the purely conscious. So, our aim is to get influenced by Krishna. So, when we get influenced by Krishna, we will only work for Krishna. And while we are working for Krishna, we will not be disrespecting the material agencies. And we will get the Shakti to forgive the material agencies. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.